Good morning, everyone, and thank you so very much for joining us today. I'm very happy and glad to welcome you here on board. Uh, Actually, on behalf of Adobe, in partnership with Deep Projects, we welcome you to Creative Experiences. This is a day of celebration and learning both at Adobe. So we are here to begin and we are on setting a culture of creativity here. If you can hear me, I would really need a thumbs up in the chat window. Maybe Dohita, can I have it from you, please?
We can hear you, but there's an echo.
All right. Is it still echoing? Is there still an echoing or are we good to go?
We are good.
All
It's
right.
fine.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, Adobe values contributions in the field of education to bring creativity and digital learning in the classroom and wishes to have a long term partnership towards celebrating a culture of creativity. This today, what you're joining is a pre-event towards a training day with global experts on 10th of July, where we shall see Ben Porta coming from the global team to train educators along with the Deep Pedagogics team. This training session is for educators, and the entire event rests on four strands. The strands being creativity and innovation, creativity and collaboration, creativity and diversity, and creativity and communication. There are different stages to this entire program. I'm going to run you first through those, and please do keep typing your questions and queries in the chat window. We're keeping an eye over there, and we would love to take your queries, questions, and answer them. At many points, I'm going to pause to see if there are any questions, and Dohita Parmar has partnered with me today to present to you and to hold the position of being a moderator also. But before we move forward, let me first introduce myself, which I generally forget to do. But my apologies for that. But I'm Meenakshi Oberoi, your host, webinar host for today, and I'm the founding director and the CEO of Deep Pedagogics. We, in partnership with Adobe, are here to bring you multiple learning opportunities over the next few days. I would call it more than a fortnight. And with me is Duhita Parmar. Duhita, if you could please very briefly introduce yourself here. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dohita Parmar, a team member of Deep Pedagogics. Welcome you all for joining for this wonderful session. Kindly keep penning down your queries. Yes, Salaudin sir, the duration of the webinar is around 1 hour. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I was just about to mention that we are going to have these webinars, actually set of four webinars between today and tomorrow. So 21st June, that is today, Friday, we have two sessions today, right now, currently ongoing. One is at 11 a.m., where we are going to talk about creativity and innovation. The second one is going to happen at 4 p.m., which is on creativity and collaboration. Third one is going to be tomorrow, that is 22nd June at 11 a.m. All these timings are India timings, IST. And the fourth one is going to be at 4 p.m. Tomorrow, where we shall talk about creativity and communication. So these four webinars are a set of webinars to prepare you better towards the training day. On the training day, what the day is going to look like, I'm just going to share that with you. But on the training day, you shall require the knowledge of all these four strands to actually build projects. We are making an attempt to help you understand creativity in the light of innovation, collaboration, diversity, and communication. I'm sure there are going to be multiple questions, but we're going to address them as we go. As a follow-up of these webinars, we will be sharing recording of all the four webinars with you, but we really encourage you to be present live here because I'm sure when we talk, there are so many questions that are going to come to your mind. So to address them better, it's always nice that we have you live out there. So we'll urge you to please do join all the four webinars. And post this, there will be a project that each of you will have to make and submit by 27th of June. This will be a project based on Spark, and you could choose any four themes to be a part of any four of these themes. We have limited seats in each of these strands. Therefore, we are going to give you a choice, but it's going to be limited. If the seats get filled, we will have to request you to choose another theme. So, right now, when I'm talking, please do in your mind run your preferences as to which theme would you like to work on between innovation, collaboration, diversity, and communication, along with creativity. Once you've submitted these Spark projects on 27th, that is Thursday, you will be given, the announcement of the results for stage two. That is, if you've qualified to be a part of stage two, will be announced on 30th of June, that is Sunday. You can expect the results to be out between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. You shall be sent emails which will invite you to stage two. What is stage two? Let me take you there. Stage two is a training day. We are planning to bring about 150 only selected educators, about 150 educators from stage one to stage two. These educators will have a whole day training session at our Noida office, that is the Adobe Systems India Private Limited office at Noida in Sector 132. Uh, you will be you will be actually expected to be there. Kindly note, there are no travel or lodging expenses that Adobe is going to bear for any of this. This is an endeavor for an educator to have an opportunity to be trained and to be a part of this forum. Therefore, we urge you to kindly consider this, that if you get selected, you will have to be here by 9 a.m. on 10th of July via mail. We will be sharing the entire agenda with you, but just to give you an overview, we will be starting in the morning with the opening session with Garima welcoming you. Sorry, welcoming you. Post which Ben Fota will be taking your workshop from 10 to 12. From 12 to 2, we will have a working lunch where D Pedagogics, as your mentors, would be guiding you in designing your projects in a group. So each of you will be a part of a group. There will be at least 3 members in each of the groups, and you will be put to work in a group on a new Spark project within your group on the given strand of the 4 strands only. So what we assume is today you're understanding the strand, you're working on that strand. When you come, 3 of you or 4 of you will put your thoughts together to create a new project on that strand. It could be possible that you might want to work on any one of the sparks that the 4 of you have created, or probably create a new one. And I think innovation and creativity is something that is on top of teachers' minds, and they love creating new projects. So when you walk away, you not only walk away with each other's spark, which we will share with you, or the projects that you have created, but also you collaboratively create new project with your new buddies, and we make sure that the buddies are not from the same school. Now, by 3 o'clock, we will be running, or by 2:30 actually, 2:30, we will be running jury sessions. So there will be a jury of about 3 to 4 panelists to whom you will be presenting these projects, group projects, and they will be selecting about 50 educators from across 3 groups in each of the strands, who will be then uh, invited to be a part of Adobe School Leaders Summit on 11th of July, where you will be awarded, you will be given certificates, and of course, you get to be a part of a bigger diaspora that is for Adobe School Leaders Summit. I'll just sum this up by just giving you a very quick run through of the timeline, and then I'm going to pause if there are any questions. So, stage one, you're a part of the webinar right now at 11 a.m. We expect you to be back by 4 p.m. for creativity and collaboration. Then tomorrow morning, that is on 22nd June at 11 a.m. for creativity and diversity. And then at 4 p.m. tomorrow for creativity and communication. Having understood this, we expect you to create a spark on any one of the strands individually, not as a partner or a pair, and give us your submissions by 27th. We will be sharing a link within this presentation for you to submit that project. On 30th, we will be announcing the results, for which you will get an invitation for stage 2. That is the event on 10th of July, where again we have a whole day of creative experiences planned for you, details of which have been shared with you right now. What I will also tell you is that these projects and these grouping are being given very careful consideration, and that we have a rubric which shall be shared with you for evaluating these projects. Of course, those 150 educators, 50 will be selected to be a part of Adobe School Leaders Summit on 11th, and we will welcome you, award you, reward you. For teachers who are 150 educators who are going to be a part of creative learning experiences on 10th of July, also you will be given a certificate of participation that day. So certification is attached to both the days, and you will be walking away with lot of rich experiences. I'm going to pause here to see if we have any questions there. Dvita, do we have any questions in the chat window?
Yeah, we had some questions, but I've tried to answer them simultaneously. So at present, we are fine. So the
Okay,
basic
great.
questions are that the strand, choice of strand will be done by us or by you. So in the initial stages, the choice is going to be done by you only. Any one out of the four strands you can choose to create your spark.
Correct. And for choosing the strands, we will be sharing an Excel sheet with you wherein you can put in your choice of the strands you would like to work on. Okay, I have to urge everyone to kindly stay on mute, because as we talk, others are not able to hear if you're not on mute. And of course, Dohita is making sure that everyone stays on mute. Thank you.
So we have another question that
So,
what if we
yeah, sure.
combine all the four strands in the first go?
That is not an option. The option is that you have to focus on one. So let me give you a bit of a background here. These strands have been created with a lot of thought, because there is a lot of overlap between creativity and innovation that works. The whole endeavor is around creating more opportunities
We
to
lost your
words
voice,
creativity.
Meenakshi.
Okay, am I there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
and can you see the slideshow?
No, no, just
Okay,
a second before
just
it
1
went away.
minute.
Yes, the
Yeah, we're
slide is
back.
there.
Yeah,
We request
awesome.
everyone to kindly mute themselves, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I was talking about the strands. Yeah, the four strands cannot be combined for a very simple reason. Each of them have their own significance in combination with creativity, and they must not be combined. The whole endeavor is around creating more opportunities towards creativity. Therefore, the different combinations. So, if we combine all the four, it's more of, I think I've served all in one go. That's not the objective of the whole endeavor. The whole endeavor is to highlight what is the combination between creativity and innovation that works. The way it works with diversity is much different. The way it will work with collaboration, though there will be shades of overlap, which I shall highlight when I talk about it. Yet there is a clear demarcation between innovation, diversity, collaboration, and communication. But that's a good question to ask. Anybody
Uh,
else? So, yeah.
yes, there's one more question, especially the educators who have joined us from outstation. So I would request Sri Parna ma'am to please mute herself. Sri Parna Bhattacharya ma'am, can you please mute yourself? So how the outstation candidates are going to book the tickets, because till the time they get to know whether they are selected or not.
You're absolutely right. We'll have to urge you to wait till 30th. We assure you by 10 a.m. 30th, we will give you the results, and then you can get your bookings done. The event is on 10th. And I think 10-day window is not bad a window. I'm just going to jump out of this slide and try and mute everybody out there.
Yes, please, please.
Right. So we're going to move on from here.
Meenakshi, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. So have I been able
Uh,
to answer everybody's questions?
yeah. I humbly request Riparna ma'am to please mute herself. Lot of disturbance is coming. Riparna ma'am, if you're able to hear my voice,
Okay.
continue, Meenakshi. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So kindly share this link to join the webinar as widely as possible. Moving forward, plan for 10th. Of course, I've already run you through the plan, but well, the whole idea is here to have you from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. so that we are together creating a culture of creativity and we are able to leverage the platform that is being offered to us. I actually would like to pause here to acknowledge the efforts put in by these corporates to engage with education community and actually try and bring in opportunities to change this entire ecosystem and to support us in our change. So I urge each and every one of you to please do spread the word, do share with your friends and colleagues to be a part of this endeavor. So the pre-event starts today. Like I said, I'm going to focus today on creativity and education right now. And at 4 p.m., we shall be talking about creativity and collaboration. And of course, we will be taking your questions moving forward from here. I'm sure you're going to brew on the idea and you're going to come back with loads of questions. So come back at 4 p.m. We have a good 20 minutes of just Q&A set in for you over there. Right then, ready to dive in into creativity and innovation. Creativity and innovation are becoming increasingly important for the development of 21st century knowledge society. Well, they contribute to the economic prosperity as well as to society and individual well-being and are essential factors for a more competitive and dynamic world. You will agree with me when I say this that education is seen as central in fostering creativity and innovation skill. I hear it all the time. The world is changing and schools need to change. Well, lots of us recognize that we no longer we rely on the old model where we have to dump information into students' brains and they recreate it back. The world we live in today requires more of people who are problem solvers, who are creative, who are collaborators, the ability to innovate, iterate, and design solutions for problems and for problems that don't even exist. Well, the way we do now in schools is what we are here for, what we are here to discuss, how to prepare kids better, and how should they be behaving moving forward. Well, creativity is conceptualized as a skill for all. When you hear the word creative, you might think of a painter, a playwright, an author, a photographer, a filmmaker, or a chef. Well, in other words, you might think of people who make things, literally. But there is no such thing as a creative type. We're all very creative. Every one of us. We just need a better definition or a bigger definition of creativity. Yes, creativity involves making things, but it can also mean mashing up ideas in innovative ways. It can mean finding new solutions or unique solutions to practical problems or tweaking things in unusual ways. Well, it can also mean exploring ideas and navigating information until you become an expert. It can mean designing systems that empower the creative work of others. It can mean creating change in the world and shape our world in profound ways. And the more we see creativity all around us, the more we are appreciable of the creative side of ourselves. We, in our everyday lives, are trying to be creative in very small ways. We try and not only design the lesson plans in very creative manner, but we also try and bring it to our personal lives. How many of you have never tweaked a photograph that you have clicked of yourself? Well, selfie adjusting or adjusting any picture that you're posting or putting your own words, we all have done that. Well, it's not only me who is saying this, but actually researchers are putting these statements to support what I've just said. Researchers emphasize that the need to encourage development of students' creative and innovative potential has several reasons. The upsurge of new media and technologies that learners use in everyday lives can be exploited in creative and innovative ways. They're using social media in ways which we cannot even think of. They're using Instagram to voice their thoughts. They're using Facebook to uh, to actually put their thoughts into a capsule, which might not be a very safe way of them doing that. Yet they are expressing their state of mind and voicing their thoughts about the issues that matter to them. The immersion in this media rich environment leads to a new cohort of students to learn and understand different ways. Therefore, teachers need to help develop these creative approaches and find methods, solutions, ideas, ways, and many more practices to grab their attention. Creativity is a form of knowledge creation. Through stimulating creativity has positive spillover effects into learning, supporting, and enhancing self-learning. So why not think about giving these self-learning or learning to learn or lifelong learning skills to our students and giving them an opportunity to grow in their capacities. Creativity is at the heart of innovation and a crucial skill to master if you are to be future ready. Now, you might wonder what both the things are somewhat related to each other. Well, yes. Here's juxtaposing creativity and innovation. Creativity is an act of creating new ideas and imaginations and possibilities, whereas innovation is introduction of something new and effective. Creativity is more imaginative. Innovation is more productive. The quality of thinking new ideas and putting them into reality is creativity. And the act of executing, and I underline, executing the creative ideas into practice is innovation. Yet another way to look at it. Creativity is related to imagination, innovation is related to implementation. All innovation begin with creative ideas. Creativity by individuals and team is a starting point of innovation. Let me give you an example. I've actually run you through many ways of letting you know the difference between creativity and innovation. Here's Jimmy. Say hi to Jimmy. He's a child who's very creative. He's a child who's full of imagination. His world is full of colors. And if this was his picture, you would certainly place it on the fridge. Look at Jimmy interacting with his father in a few years. How's your math coming? I do math. I don't do math anymore. I'm deciding. I'm more of a visual person. And look at the response he gets. Good visual beings, the only visualize being only 45-year-old in first grade. Well, what can a 45-year-old look like? We all know in an office full of files and full of work and only thinking of climbing the corporate ladder. But over 70% of the companies across the globe are investing in innovation. What do you need? How do you grow? Well, by becoming a child. The creative learning is any journey which involves understanding and new awareness, which allows the learner to go the beyond the notional acquisition and focuses on thinking skills. It is based on learner empowerment and centeredness. Ideas are the new currency of the new economy. Innovation is the application of such a process or product in order to benefit from what has been made. Therefore, innovating teaching is the process leading to creative learning experiences. Let me take the example of an appreciative inquiry. Appreciative inquiry is a design approach that builds on strengths using empathy for students and each other to guide innovation. Educators are actors who have the power to unlock these creative and innovative potential in the young. And it is in hands of these educational actors. Well, yes, I'm giving it a new term today. I'm not calling educators teachers or facilitators. I'm calling them education actors because they are the ones who are setting the stage for this learning. All we hear in the classrooms is kids should be engaged in solving problems in the real world. You can solve the problem in unique ways. You don't have to design a product all the time. Teaching students should be as basic as possible. Let's not start teaching them the fundamentals which they might already learn from somewhere else, maybe a book or maybe just a simple video. Let's say I'm about to teach web design in a media class. I'm going to encourage them to create a site for something they're passionate about. Here they are doing two things. The focus is on passion. Creation is only a platform or a playground for them to do or to create the said. Let me throw in some ideas here. Design a city in the sky. Well, you need a team and an architect to create a city. But when you talk to a student, you simply need his brain because he's already existing in a city which rests on Earth. So, designing a city in the sky, he certainly needs to use his creative, critical thinking skills. He needs to be innovative. He needs to have a number of ideas to change the whole sphere of gravity. Or design the drone delivery system. We're all very familiar with the drone delivery system. Many of our parents purchase drones for their children just for fun. What about bringing that into education? What about creating some projects? What about creating a focus that let our students design a whole delivery system based on drone? And I know you'll say that this has already begun in the United States. Has it begun in your class though? There has to be many systems that drone could manage. It's just about thinking and it's just about brewing those ideas. Invent an underground civilization, and who says history is boring? Turn it around. There has to be some way to make students think about civilizations. Here's a wonderful idea, and I must mention these are not my ideas. There are amazing educators across the globe who are brewing these ideas in their classrooms. I'm only a conveyor of those ideas here. And of course, I try and present ideas by tweaking a bit. Well, my creativity is always at play. So, invent an underground civilization. They could be taken to local civilization sites, local archaeological sites, and the ideas could brew from there. Create an animal or a living being that lives inside an active volcano. How vague is that? Exactly. It has to be vague enough. It has to be outside of the box enough. It has to be unreal enough to make it real. Here's something absolutely real. Find an interesting photograph. And here's something absolutely doable. Come up with a question, task, or a problem that uses this image as a prompt for an activity. So you're actually putting the student in the driver's seat, where he not only needs to navigate through his entire project, he also needs to decide what the destination is. And he needs to decide what is he going to do at the destination. You're just bringing in the canvas and you're making the canvas a little larger than life. Here's something that's very interesting that happened in one of our classrooms. So box your idea. Everybody, I think in most of the homes, we will have a cereal box or at least any boxed packaging. We turned it around. We said, you want to send out a message to people? People eat cereal every morning. Every morning, they will pick up that box to read your your message. So create a message that you strongly feel about and craft it very cleverly and put it on the cereal box because cereal box is your canvas to create that. When we talk about ideas like this, when we talk about tasks like this, the first question that I get from teachers is, well, how am I going to assess this? How do you assess creativity? Yeah, there is no measure of creativity. There is no way to say you're not being creative enough or this is not creative. Creativity is each one to his own, and I've said that before, and I mean it. Creativity can be measured if the title is original in this case, the mascot that they are using in this task is original, maybe an inspiration from another character, but is it original? The ideas, the storyboarding of the ideas has been shared or not, and are the images that are used are innovative enough? Are they original enough? Are they authentic enough? Those would be my measures when I'm measuring creativity and innovation putting together. Students should be empowered to solve real world problems. Well, yes, and it's not that difficult. This is an interesting idea which I wanted to share with you. Here's a student took what he learned in the class or she learned in the class back home. The concept that was being taught in the classroom was volcano. And the idea that was brewing in this child's mind was volcano cake because she was hungry, maybe. Maybe she just likes the idea of creating different types of cakes. I don't know. But here's what she did. She made a spark on volcano cake. So she took pictures of various stages of making that cake. She was not fearful of sharing her successes or her misses, or even when she went wrong or messy. She didn't want everything to look beautiful. She knew she was just being a child trying to create a volcano cake. And the whole idea came to life with those small hands and the expression at the end of that whole project, which I don't know looked like a volcano or not. At least to me, this is the most beautiful volcano that I could have come across. And the whole idea of capturing the journey and the whole creative learning that has happened in this has been captured in a spark is priceless for me. Thus, creative learning can be any that involves innovation, creation, uh, yeses, nos, misses, um, just being fearless and taking risks. To me, the whole process is what I would put in front of you now. Once again, I think someone is unmuted herself or himself. I'll really urge you to mute yourself.
Yes, Sister Arti.
Okay, so I'm going to jump out.
Can we mute it?
I just jumped out to mute all, and I think we are better now. I really urge you to kindly stay
Yes.
on mute. Thank you. Let me jump back. So, just putting or encapsulating what we've just shared, the whole idea of creation and innovation can be put in a cycle of something like this. I'm only offering you one of the ways of doing it. I'm sure you'll have your own, and you may stick to your own. But here's something that we have to offer to you. Promote creativity as a skill accessible to all students. So when we say we are going to do mind mapping, there shouldn't be one or two who should be contributing and the teachers collating everything on the board. Rather than that, let's give them the canvas to write, iterate, or illustrate whatever's on their mind. Make classroom a place of investigation. There has to be space for investigation. Till you start investigating, you do not start thinking about it. Provide ample time. I know I'm asking for your time, but I think we just owe it to them. Provide creative learning experiences, which I'm sure you are. And I'm sure the ideas, more we talk and more we brew about it, more ideas is what we shall come up with. And of course, use classroom assessments, which promote understanding and self improvement rather than only giving marks at the end of an assignment. Jar of ideas? Well, that's how we do it. We have a jar in our classroom and we call it a challenge jar. Take your pick from the jar, is what we say. And what we do is we ask the students to present their work from a different viewpoint. Create a challenging quiz, maybe, on the topic with the answers, of course. Take a past and paper and answer the quest. Maybe history is a good subject to do that. Create an A to Z FAQ on our topic to share as a revision resource. Well, that sounds great, isn't it? A few more your way. Create a language and a structure for developing creativity and innovation and managing this process. How? Use Spark for annotating of learning, representation of ideas, their own lesson starters rather than us giving them prompts and provocations. Top challenge trump cards. Let them design those cards. Use Spark to design the cards. Evidence of practical activities of what they have been doing, just the way I showed you the volcano. There could be many students who might be doing things at home which might not even know, we might not even know about. Encourage them into making a video or a web page or just a spark. Spark it out of your mind, bring it to your classroom. Tell stories or narratives explaining that process. I'll encourage all of you to try challenge assumptions in your classrooms. Well, when you alter the assumptions, you inspire new ideas related to a problem and create a novel opportunity. Scamper, which means substitute, combine, adapt, modify, put to another use, eliminate, reverse, or rearrange. Well, think about ideas under each of these strands. What and who can put this particular thing to another use? Let's say I've used this jam jar into my challenge jar. I'm not only reusing it, I'm actually putting it to a jar of innovation or making it a jar of creativity. If students are learning about a real world application, whenever possible, please skip the theory and get them to dive into the real thing. Because what's brewing on their mind is not what's written in the books, and that can be a part of your outcome. As an outcome, you will see eventually the child will be able to tell through that volcano cake how a volcano erupts, or maybe using that as an example, the child will be able to explain. But in that process or during that process, they really need their space to brew that idea. An excellent practical math idea of teaching velocity is to ask students to build a paper airplane and use calculations. Well, I know all of you are smiling because all of us have used paper airplanes in our classrooms, but use that to calculate and predict their speed. What better way to iterate their calculations by testing them out in real life? Well, understanding the science of creativity, its principles and practices, and overcoming the tyranny of fear, perfectionism, and criticism, and engaging in a whole brain thinking approach of creativity and innovation is what we have talked about today. And I hope this has made a lot of sense. Here's something for you. How do we get creativity from our students? Well, give them something interesting to work on. Give them time, tools, and skills they used. And please get out of their way. The less restrictions you place on a task, the more creative the response. The more restrictions you place on a task, the less creative the response. So it's as easy as that. I think I have said enough. I'm going to rest my presentation here, and I'm going to pause to see if there are any questions or queries that I can answer for you before I hand it over to Duhita to talk about Spark, because I've mentioned Adobe Spark multiple times by now. And some of you might be wondering, now what is this Spark and how do we make it work and how do we get it? Well, let Duhita talk about it, and then I'm going to jump back to see how I can contribute.
So before I start, there is one query from an educator that while creating the strand and the spark, can a voiceover be added in it? And especially if a child's voiceover can be added in the creation.
Like I said, I think more innovative than us are you people who can brew up ideas in seconds. Yes, you certainly can. And Doita is going to show you just that. It is through Spark Video that you can do that. Doita is going to run you through this, and I'm really loving it when you're throwing these ideas here. I'm catching them all in the chat window now while Duhita is going to present to you. Duhita, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. So coming to, we have been using the word spark all through the presentation since 11 o'clock. So let me take you down a journey, a little brief about what all is Spark and the Adobe Spark. And believe me, this Adobe Spark really brings a spark in your life and in your students' life. Least not to say, not to forget and say in the classrooms also. So what is Adobe Spark? Adobe Spark is a suite of 3 tools which are easy to use, produce beautiful outcomes, and foster creativity in learners. Additionally, they can be used in lots of ways to support learning. Now, let me quickly explain what each of these does with the help of some examples. The first one is Adobe Spark Post, which is a tool for making posters, collages, and other images with text placed on the top. It's great for reflecting upon learning, creating revision flashcards, wall displays, presentation slides of all sorts. If you look at the banner images on our blog and on our social media, almost all the images that we have created, they have been created using Adobe Spark Post app. Coming to the second, which is Adobe Spark Page. It's a tool for making beautiful web pages. An example of this would be our monthly newsletter. In class, however, it could be used in many ways, such as creating a web page to promote an activity in school. It could be a science experiment write-up, a portfolio of images, or simply a portfolio of your students' work. Again, the number of users are huge and endless. The way you use it, your imagination and creativity. Last but not the least is the Adobe Spark Video. It's a tool for making a presentation which ends up being saved as a video, created in a similar way to how you would create a PowerPoint presentation. Spark Video asks you to record your voice over each slide to explain the content. So definitely when you are adding your voice also in each slide of it, it makes much better sense and it has a wider reach out. Again, the uses here are huge. Each have featured in their own posts on the site here and in others, and all three of the apps are featured in our last few periodic tables of apps also. Their use in education, both for adults and learners alike, are superb. For learners, our favorite is, it has to be the Adobe Spark Video for the depth of challenges that you can add to learning activities with the app. Again, we can reach out using Adobe Spark Video to our special learners also if we don't forget it. I'll briefly also share that Adobe Spark is free for education. In all our interactions with Adobe, they have always stated that the Spark suite of products will always be free for education. And they have recently made further steps to open up the access to this brilliant suite of tools to education. Previously, yes, the apps had issues for primary school users as the age of users had to be 13 and above. This obviously caused issues, but you would be happy to hear that it is now 4 plus. You can also now manage all of your learners' accounts and get them all set up simply via the Adobe Creative Cloud dashboard. For more information on how to get all of this set up and how you might like to use Adobe Spark in your school, you can connect with us at thepedagogics.com. As with many technology companies, Adobe Spark does hold data, and so they have to make sure that they are compliant too with GDPR and in relation to COPPA too. So that's all a little brief about the Adobe. I hope a little clarity is there. Still, if there are any questions or any hiccups, please feel free to ask or write down in the chat window. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dohita. I think we are very clear about Adobe Spark because you've explained us very clearly. Is there any question? I don't see any question for now. Do you see my presentation running or is it not visible?
It's visible, very much visible.
Fantastic, fantastic. Um, I'm going to pause here to see if there are any questions in our chat window. Um, I'm just resting this thought with you. Embrace uncertainty, it creates opportunity. It certainly does. Questions.
Yeah.
I would really appreciate if we can
Yeah.
have questions here.
So, Ritu Pandey, ma'am, you have just mentioned two question marks. So, any question out there, please?
So while we wait for questions, I must tell you that This is your task ahead, and you have to create a spark on the strand creation and innovation. Sorry, creativity and innovation. And I'll highly recommend that you make your spark on all the four strands if possible, and then decide which one would you want to submit. In case you would like to hear them all and then make a spark, it's completely your choice. The link is available to you. We'll put it in our chat window also, and you may feel free to start posting whenever you are ready. No pressures till 27th. 27th of June holds all the pressure for you to submit. Till I can give you, I mean, for 27th, what we mean is by, I think the whole night is what you can take, but by 11 p.m., we would want to stop, pause, and stop taking more Spark, submissions. Somebody has unmuted himself or herself. Would you like to say something?
हाँ बस
Jyoti ma'am, you want to say something? Okay, great.
There is a
She's
question
unmuted.
over there that can the app be used offline?
The app cannot be used offline. You have to use it online. But having said that, you can use it on your phones. So on your phone, you can go to your app store and download. If you use an Apple phone, all the three formats of Adobe Spark, Adobe Post, and Adobe Page, Post, Page, and Video can be downloaded separately. If you are on an Android phone, then only Spark Post can be downloaded on your this thing phone. On your systems in any browser possible, you can work on Spark. One very important thing that we have left out is we will be giving you, post this call, you will receive a mail from Adobe where you will be given a license to use Adobe Spark. So on your email IDs that you have shared with us, please expect an email which will give you access to Adobe Spark. Kindly use that link, because only when you use a licensed Spark uh, will you get all the powers to create something. If you use a free version, you will see certain limitations, and we would want to give you access to Adobe Spark so that you can sparkle with your creations.
So we have the next question by Gayatri Man. Can we type Hindi text on it? And if I'm not wrong, definitely, because it's interdisciplinary. Still, I'll allow Meenakshi to further answer the
So
same.
I haven't really tried typing Hindi. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say two things here. Number one, you type there, take a screenshot and upload it as a picture. That can be done 100%. Typing in Hindi, I'm not too sure if it accommodates Hindi as a language or not. It works in multiple languages, but if Hindi is an option or not, I'm not sure right now. I will come back to you by 4 p.m. on this. I assure you that.
Yeah. The next one is that has it to be a lesson plan or anything to be used in any part of the lesson plan?
Okay, good question. It could be a lesson plan, but we do not want to see an innovation in teachers' creation. We want to see innovation in creating a learning opportunity. Okay, which means your learning opportunity should be significantly, showcasing creativity and innovation together. Which means that if my students get an opportunity to, let's say, learn about, let me pick up any concept. Uh, let's say they are trying to pick up, I'm trying to teach them something on animals. So I'm teaching them plant cell and animal cell. Only creating a spark about animal and plant cell does not solve my purpose. My whole idea is, how are you going to give a child an innovative opportunity to express his understanding or knowledge, or to understand the whole endeavor. So even if I am creating, let's say, a spark and send a spark video or a spark post or a spark web page, sending it out to the student has to respond to it by writing or by lending to it. Let's say he can add more pictures to help me understand what did my child understand out of this animal or plant cell, and write. The good thing about Spark is you cannot copy and paste. You have to write your own original text. So write in their own words the meaning of this whole animal or plant cell. See, because there are certain scientific facts which cannot be changed. Yet, you go home, you engage in a creative way of showing me the diagram of a plant or an animal cell. You created with crayons, you created with food material, you created with dals, you created with whoever. But I want a diagram, to see a diagram where you are able to showcase your understanding and you have created. I don't want to see the end product, I want to see the journey, and I want it labeled. So take a picture of all of these things, put them in a web page. Now that's being innovative, rather than only teaching out of textbook, or rather than just a teacher rattling it out to you. You're trying to tell me what you've understood, how you've understood. You've tried meddling and fiddling with it. I hope that makes sense.
Thank you. Uh, we have educators asking that we have shared that they can expect the mail for the Spark license. So till when can they get the mail? When would they be able to receive the mail for the license?
It takes just about as many minutes or seconds to send a mail, but we have a long list of about 1100 educators. So please give it about an hour to be pushed to you. It's just a matter of how fast the system works. We're only supposed to load that list and send it out to you. That's about it.
So can the teachers use all the three tools? Are all the Spark apps in collaboration? Can they make it, or they have to choose any one out of the
Okay,
three?
let me put it this way. I love this question because if I were you, what I would do is I would create a Spark page, put a Spark video and a Spark post in it. So I would ideally take a combination. So you will have to individually make a post first, then a video, and then insert them into Spark page. How we will know about it is because there is in every picture. Okay, if you noticed, when I was showcasing a few pictures, by the way, some of the pictures that I've used today over here have been created. If you've had that wow feeling that this graphic looks amazing and the text looks amazing, well, I owe it all to Adobe Spark post, because I've created multiple posts to create this presentation today for you.
Uh, we have another question by Priyanka that do we get the topics in strands?
No, you don't get the topics. That's your choice. See, we want to keep it open for a very simple reason, because we know you teach different subjects and that you would be more comfortable in your own zone. Therefore, we don't want to fix the topics. Topic has to be of your choice. The strand. So let me explain this. There is content, there is pedagogy, and there's technology. We have frozen the technology here. Okay. We have given you a strand for pedagogy, which is creativity and innovation. Content is completely yours. So technology, being Adobe Spark, is what we have frozen, but we have given you choice of three over there. Use one, two, or all. Pedagogy, choose a pedagogy that suits creativity and innovation the best, and choose the content that suits you the best. Does that help?
So we have another one that can two to three students work together in a collaborative mode in Spark? This is not
Uh,
related to the project, but in a general question it is being asked as
Yes,
a feature.
yes, it can be. In fact, you can manage your whole class. This is an update that has been released just today, and Ben Pota has posted about this in on Facebook and Twitter today. In our next webinar, I'm going to bring you a link to that. So that was the plan. That let me not bombard you right now with these things, but yeah, to simply answer your question, if your school is a part of Digital Disha program, again, when you come back on at 4 p.m., I'm going to talk about Adobe Digital Disha program, which actually licenses your entire campus to use Adobe Spark, and all of this entire program is free of cost. And I'm going to talk more about it in our 4 p.m. Webinar. But to answer your question simply, yes, you can.
And Ritu Pandey ma'am, you also, I think this answer solves your query also, that how you can access it in the school. So when you join at 4 o'clock, we'll share more details on the same.
Fantastic. Rita, do we have any more questions?
We have,
We have another
people have,
4 minutes to go.
yeah, we have one question only. People just want to re-go through the details of the challenge. They want to see it again. So what I'll do, I'll just paste it in the chat window also, or if we can just show
You're
them the
looking at
slide.
the
The
task.
first, yes, the task details, the challenge details.
Okay, wait. Sorry. What we are going to do is we are going to post this for you because I'll be literally running slides here and I might not be able to
The
land on that.
competition details, the competition details. So
So what we're going to do is this one.
so dear all, this is the link wherein you will create your Spark and send in. I have already pasted this link in the chat window, and the previous slide please, wherein the competition details are mentioned. And Ritu Pandey ma'am, yes, a little portion at 4 o'clock today we will talk about Adobe Disha also, other than the second strand.
So what I'm going to do is we are also going to mail you this link and a recording of this webinar because I know you want to hear it again. And Aarti Chopra ma'am has asked if we are going to share this PPT. Yes, we will be sharing all the content. This is all for you. So certainly it needs to be shared with you. You'll be getting a link to a folder in which we will keep parking all videos and all presentations and all links. So as you go there, you will see that as our webinars get over, all the links will be available or all the videos and everything, all the resources would be available out there. So I'm going to, is there any other question that we are looking to be answered?
Yes. When do we get to select our strand?
Yeah, like I said, right after this call, we will be shooting out a spreadsheet to you. You can choose, sorry, actually, a form will come to you, and that form will also have a link to this folder. So, the link that I've been talking about, this link, the task link, we will give you that will be pasted in the top on the top along with the title. Okay, so the subtitle portion will carry a link to this folder and will carry the rest of the details too. You can choose to be anywhere over there.
We have one last question, please. How
Sure.
the Android users can use Adobe Video application?
You'll have to have a device which allows your browser
Yes.
to do
Hmm.
that. You'll have to have a tablet or a laptop or a desktop for that matter.
Any other query, please? I hope I have reached out to each and everyone through the chat window. Still, by chance, if I have missed out anyone.
Dwita, I'm amazed at the way we've been able to maintain the time. People, a round of applause to us, please. But yeah, of course, thank you so very much. I just want to close this on a note of creativity and innovation. Um, I really feel that there is a strong link of creativity and innovation with knowledge and learning. Creativity may be seen as a form of knowledge creation and of constructing personal meaning, and therefore, I think it is just a way to enhance learning, which is already happening in your classroom. We all are here to embrace a creative way of learning. And I urge each and every one of you to kindly make that spark and share with us in time so that we are able to invite you. And we would really detest not being able to include anybody. Therefore, I urge you to please make a spark and share with us. And believe you me, if you can, it doesn't take time. It's really on the go kind of a tool. It doesn't take time. And when I say that, I mean it. So, thank you so very much for joining us right now. We really look forward to having you again at 4 p.m. See you there, where we are going to talk about innovation and collaboration. Before I go, actually, we are quite here only. I understand if you have to go or if you have to leave. I completely understand. And we are here to answer any further questions or queries that you
Yes.
might have. Yes, please go ahead.
What's the deadline? Can you repeat for Spark? Okay, the deadline for submission of the Spark?
Yeah, that's 27th of June. That is Friday. Friday is your deadline to submit.
We have one more question.
Sure.
Just scrolling up actually. Monica has written that if he creates an Adobe video and inserts a page inside it, how will it be visible?
If you no, it okay, you have to go the other way around. You have to create a video and insert a page. Otherwise, you have to screen record the page. Like I did for you today, the whole volcano cake thing, I had screen recorded using my PowerPoint doing that. So there's a question, can we make the project in groups? No, not right now.
I've
You
answered.
cannot make projects in groups right now. You will have to make it individually. This is an individual work right now, very clearly. Monica, you're talking about a poster. So you can create a poster using your Spark post and then insert it in one of your slides and video. Yes, then yes.
Is there any time
Yeah,
limit?
there is a time limit. Good question. Good question. For the
Mhm.
video, the time limit is 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes. Good question. You know what? You people keep us on toes.
Yes.
So, yeah, not more than 2 minutes of video is what we are looking at. We do not want lengthy stories. We're simply looking at 2 minutes. And 2 minutes is a long time, I'll tell you. If you have to watch a presentation, if you have to watch a video, 2 minutes seems never ending. So, yes, 2 minutes. About the Spark page, no, not really, but I should be able to run through your Spark page in 2 minutes. So please do not overcrowd your page with too many videos. Just the whole run time in the whole have a run through yourself. Don't make it more than 2 minutes. So I would say not more than 10 slides down is what you should do it. Yeah. Okay, at this point, I'm going to stop recording, but I'm still here to answer your questions. Uh, So thank you so very much once again for joining. This has been great. Our experience has been wonderful. I hope we've been able to do the same for you.